José González, welcome. A tour stop in Austria, exactly in the Conrad Sohm in Dornbirn. What comes into your mind when you think about our beautiful country?
Well, yeah, I think about the beautiful country. So the beautiful countryside, the mountains, the forests. I was there as a kid with my family on a vacation, and since then it's been great to come back, and looking forward. And Dornbirn, I can't remember if I've been there. Probably not there, I think.
When we look at your biography, there was just a new film released, Tiger in Paradise, which is very self-reflective. How difficult is self-reflection for you?
Well, I'm not the type that wants to talk about myself or wants to to open up too much. But this was a perfect moment for me to do the documentary together with Musiker, who's been doing many of my videos before. He's done one documentary with me before, so it felt like a cool opportunity to do something poetic, where it's so I'm opening up, but it's sort of on my own terms and in a poetic way.
In the film, you talk about becoming a musician by accidentally. What would you have become instead?
Well, I was studying biochemistry when I was between my 20 and 25. So I was on my way to do research on molecules. But yeah, I had my music on the side. I released my 7 inches, and sort of I was okay with the music being my hobby. But all of a sudden, with the first releases, the first Crosses EP and then the first album, it just took off in a way that I didn't expect, and all of a sudden I had a different career.
Your music was featured also in very well-known film and movie productions like OC California, or especially when your song Stay Alive was featured for the film The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. What has changed with that global success?
Yeah, well, ever since my music was used on the Sony Bravia advert, things changed. So at first I was only known in Sweden, but then with the advert, it was more worldwide, especially the English-speaking countries. So Great Britain, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. And then, as you mentioned, it's been TV series, it's been video games, and it's sort of like with each new mainstream usage of my songs, I reach new crowds. So all of a sudden, when I'm doing shows, I see parents that grew up with my music, and the kids that just heard my song on a TV, on a video game. They're also fans. So it's cool. It's prolonged my career, I think.
So your music touches all different kinds of generations. How would you describe your music in 3 sentences, if this is possible?
Well, I always start with the sound, which is nylon string guitar and vocals, mainly in English, but also some Spanish and Swedish now. In the finger picking style, in the vein of the folk artists from the 60s and 70s, but also with the influences from Africa sometimes, and from a bit more modern folk. Yeah, it's I'm not sure how many sentences that was.
We're not restricted. Especially for you as a singer-songwriter, the pandemic situation on the world has changed everything, and also the life of musicians. Which impact had Corona on your work?
Well, I think it it affected me as a person quite a lot, but the album, curiously, was almost done just when the pandemic started. So it was more about waiting and hanging out with family, and of course having a bit more time than usual to do the final touches on the songs. But I had all the lyrics done just before the pandemic, so so we'll see what that does to the next album, where I've been through a pandemic. Maybe I'll write something that has some sort of influence by the solitude and the global experience of a pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Now you're back on tour live. What feedback do you get from audience? How important is the live concert situation for a musician like you?
Well, for me, it's I think it's important to feel like I'm doing something that matters. I like playing guitar, but it's something happens when you play and the crowd reacts, and people might have nostalgic memories with some of the songs, or they've been through something emotional, and then they hear you play it live. I sense that many times, and I also see the comments, and so it's for me it's a very important part of my artistry. I'm not sure I would do it otherwise. At the same time, I'm not when I sit on stage, I sit and stare on the guitar. I'm not that interactive with the audience, so in that sense, I don't feel like a performer. Even though I've been doing this for 20 years, I'm still more like someone who goes up on stage and plays the music, but not. I'm not an entertainer in that sense. So it's still a bit of a awkward mixture.
Okay. Do you prefer playing in small clubs in an intimate atmosphere, or on big stages in front of hundreds and thousands of people?
I never played to hundreds of thousands, but I played 10,000, and that was too big. 3,000, it depends on the venue. Most of the time, I enjoy 500 to 1,500 capacities, especially if you have good sound and you have like a round stage with a balcony, because then it's important for people to see you, and for me it's good to feel like I have a connection with them. So in that sense, I enjoy smaller venues, but not too small. So I think something happens when you're above 500. In some countries, you need even more people to get that crowd feeling where people cheer and they get excited. So I actually don't like the 30 people or 40 people super intimate shows. To me, those are just awkward.
Okay. What songs are you listening to in the moment when you have free time?
Well, I have my playlist that I use when I want to go out running, and there's one artist I found during the pandemic, Oritse Femi from Nigeria. I really enjoy dance music or like happy music. So High Life from Congo or Ghana. Yeah. So, but I mix that up with old 60s and 70s music. I love old soul songs too.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about happy music, there's a war going on. The coronavirus pandemic is still on Earth, global warming, rising costs. People are afraid. How can art, or especially music, help?
Well, I think music has always helped people to get together and enjoy each other's companies. To have a transcendence experience sometimes, or just a little break from reality. So in that sense, I think music especially is very powerful. But then I think art with lyrics that address these type of issues, so you can have a different dimension where you can. In my case, I enjoy thinking about the global topics, and I sing about them a bit in songs like Visions, and these are songs that directly address the issues of the importance of getting together to solve collective problems. And so in that sense, I think maybe some of my songs have another dimension, not only the sounds, but also the words.
Mm-hmm. So on Wednesday, you're going to visit Vorarlberg, the Conrad Sohm in Dornbirn. What can the audience expect of your upcoming show? Because it will be a show, especially with your favorite capacity, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward. It's just me on stage, me and a guitar, but I have my 2 sound engineers and a light guy. So as a show, it's quite varied, and I'm not sure what type of venue it is. Are people seated or standing?
I think they are standing and really enjoying your sound.
Because yeah, because I enjoy the other shows I'm doing are seated theaters, which can be super nice, but something happens when people are standing, because I have some songs that are a bit more rhythmical and energetic, and I always like to do shows where people are standing and you have more of a club vibe. But yeah, so if people don't know my sound, I would suggest heading to YouTube or to Spotify and take the songs, and remember that I'm not playing Stay Alive. It's I'm alone on stage with this one guitar.
Mm-hmm. So we really looking forward to your show and your visit in Dornbirn, and I hope you have a good trip to Vorarlberg, and really expecting a great show and really looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Looking forward. Take care.